Welcome to another very interesting video. A couple of months ago, I did a recap of the first round of Chess.com Daily Chess Championship 2025. At that time, I wasn't sure if I'm going to advance to the next round, because apparently there was one cheater, and I was pretty sure who that guy was. And another guy who I also kind of suspected, I'm not sure what's going on, he wasn't banned, but he admitted to me in the message section that he used some he said that he used some higher rated players advice, but I just think that he used something else as well. But luckily he withdrew from the tournament, because I was like, okay man, I just texted him like, man, just tell me, did you use anything? And then the next day he withdrew, so I didn't really influence anything. It just happened by itself. But looking at the first round, I should have advanced as well, but for some reason, against because I lost already to this guy, to this cheater guy, for some reason I only got 1 point instead of 2 out of 2 against him, and that's why I didn't advance. So that was kind of bad. But finally I'm in the round number 2, and I will show you a couple of games I played, and let's start with the first one here. This was the highest rated guy in our section. Obviously my rating is kind of low because I'm not playing it, or everything else happens. Absolutely fine, but I thought I'm the favorite of the group, and let's see how it turned out. So Caro-Kann defense, h3, bishop f3, queen f3, and e6. Starting on Monday, you'll see the recaps of my OTB tournaments, and in one of the games I actually had the same line, but I played bishop e2 and not d3. d3 is one of the moves as well, but I played bishop e2 and got a good position as well. d3 is fine, I had my own ideas. Now I go bishop e2, knight f6, g4. Apparently this is an option as well, which I might consider even for my OTB games. h6, castle, queen b6, queen g3, bishop b4, e5. So now we're getting into Dark Deep Forest, where I honestly I don't know, something wrong is happening. Like, I play queen g3 and I immediately realized that I might get in a lot of trouble here. I go e5 and now he plays d4. And at this point I was like, man, that's a very tough position. Like, I wasn't sure what I'm gonna do next, because I can't play takes f6, because I think I'm just losing the game after d takes c3. Now I can't take because bishop a3 is obviously checkmate, but if I go bishop c3, it just takes, she takes f6 or knight f6. I think black are in full control of the game. So d4, I go knight a4, and I was like, okay, attack the bishop, I attack the knight on f6, what might go wrong? Bishop d2, rook d2, queen a5. Now the pawn on a4 is attacked. I go, he takes f6, knight f6. Knight f6 is a slight mistake. But let's discuss what happens after queen a4. After queen a4, I go f takes g7, after rook g8, I can go a3, and now I'm simply up a pawn. But I didn't even actually see that, let's say, g takes f6, and I still have problems with my knight. And knight f6 is a mistake for a reason. You'll see why it's different from what happened in the game. e3. Now I protect the knight, and now after b5 I have this queen a5 idea. I pin this queen. Well, after g takes f6 I would not have such option. So castle, now I took on d4, and after b takes f4 we transpose to the endgame. What I could have done differently is here to play c4, which is, look, nah, I mean, I'm not finding this. That's I didn't actually analyze that deep after the game, but c4, I would never find this move. This move makes, okay, it kind of prevents knight d5 from happening, but apparently knight d5 can still be played on the board, which is, again, kind of insane of what's really happening here. So I could play technically 2 brilliants in a row, but c4 is probably unfindable at this point. b takes a4, queen a4, and we transpose to a simple endgame, where I thought I might have an advantage due to the c6 pawn, due to my bishop being slightly more active than this knight on f6. So rook d8, rook b2, trading pieces, and now I should have played king c3. And hard to explain why I didn't play it. because I was afraid of apparently rook b1, but I could just play bishop g2 and I'm completely winning. That's the only thing I was afraid of. There's nothing else to be afraid of. I played king c2, and now I allowed him to play rook b4, but apparently again it's not that good for black because I had d4, which again I didn't play. I instead chose to go for bishop g2, trying to attack this pawn on c6, rook a4, king b3, rook a6. Now rook is in a very passive spot, and now I go rook e1. And again, after c5, I'm slightly worse. But he goes knight d7, d4, c5, and I go d5. King f8, d takes a6, rook e6, and we are going to the following endgame, where both sides have 5 pawns, but look at the structure. There are 4 pawn islands for black, and there are only 3 pawn islands for white. And I thought my king is more active, and my king starts a journey from a4 to b5 to a6. I don't care. Computer thinks it's a mistake. I think it's the best move. Bishop f1 is slightly more, let's say, accurate, because after king f5, I don't understand because king a6, king f5 allowed kind of counterplay. But again, I just don't understand the huge difference between the two options, because what I did, king a6, now for some reason king f5 was just a very good option. King d4, bishop f1, and now knight goes to e5. Oh, you know what? That's what I was actually calculating. That's what I was calculating. And then takes a, not, I calculated king b6, and after king b4, I was like, who is winning here? a7, c2, a8, c1, and I was like, queen f8, and I pick up a pawn on g7. But again, if I pick up a pawn on g7, there's probably some checks. Okay, there are actually no checks, but I pick up a pawn. Queen f4, king c6. So yeah, I have weak pawns, he has weak pawns. Probably a draw, because the game will end in some perpetual check. So king a6, knight e5, bishop goes to f1, protecting this pawn on c4. Knight goes to c6, now king b7. Slight mistake, but not a huge deal. g5, a3, e5, and now I go f3. Knight d4, king a7, knight f3 is a blunder. According to computer, the best move was to go king c7. And now he just locks my king down on a7, and it's very hard to achieve any progress here with white pieces. But instead, knight f3, and I realized that I was probably winning, because now I have king b6 taking that position, and my pawn becomes unstoppable. a5, a3, a6, knight c6, a7, knight a7, king a7, and he simply admitted his loss. Another very interesting game happened between me and another strong player from Greece, Barbabitis. So I was playing with white pieces, yeah, all good games with white. Knight f3, and we are going for the Khan variation of Sicilian. That's not necessarily Khan, that's Taimanov. a3, d5, that's 4 knights. Bishop d7 takes castle. Isolated one on d5, not that bad. Castle, bishop g5, h6, bishop h4. In this game I felt kind of bad about my position. In general, like it was hard to create threats. Queen b6, great move I think. Bishop d3, king goes to c7. I just didn't understand this move. I thought maybe knight f4 and then taking on h4. But queen c7 is fine. Bishop goes to g3, bishop d6, and there are a bunch of trades happening on the board. Takes h3, bishop e6 again. I would probably just capture back and then go bishop e6, at least trade one more pair of pieces off the board. Bishop e6, knight e2, knight either goes to d4 or f4, and I wasn't disappointed with my position. It was more or less good. And after e5 I was like, I take, and now I have some chances. I go a4. After e4 I noticed that c4 is not really playable, and he played c4. But what he forgot about it, there is a pin, and I initially, when I was calculating like b takes a5, c5, I was like, okay, what I'm gonna do, c4 is being threatened. But then I'm like, okay, what if I do it anyways? If you have guys Chessable course by Sam Shankland, his tactical course, puzzle course, he says like, you have to calculate and you have to do it and tell yourself, what if I do it anyways? What will happen? And I did it. I was like, I'll do it anyways. After c5, a4, bishop is coming to b5. And c4, I just take opponent. Yeah, it's a winning position from now on. So yeah, bishop d3, I can't say it's best because bishop b5 attacks the rook on e8, but I guess that's fine just to protect the pawn. a6, rook b8, a5, just pushing my pawns. King f3, and we're transposed to the following endgame where I am obviously a lot better due to my 2 extra double pawns on a file. Knight c5, knight d4, takes. Now again 4 pawns here, and this technically can count as 1. Knight c6, rook b3 once again. That knight c6 move was very smart. I just want to maybe go for some forks, maybe go a7, and then go takes, and everything was calculated. I go rook b8 and a6. Now the point is, guys, let's say bishop d7, which was played, now I take on d5. There was also some line along, let's say, now rook b6 takes bishop c8, there is knight d7 check, and now I'm winning due to the fork. And there is not much black could do anyways. I took the pawn on d5, and now I played absolutely crushing a7, threatening rook b8. He goes rook a7, rook b8. Now this bishop is under attack, rook a1, rook c1, knight b6, and he admits his loss. And I won the game. As far as standings are concerned, I won my... Actually, let me maybe pull up the standings so you can actually see the whole situation, who won, what's happening. Yeah. So, as it stands right now, I officially won my group with 20.5 points, only 3 draws. That's what happens when there are no cheaters involved, so I'm pretty happy about it. So as you might see, 2 guys on the below finished with almost all losses. That happened because they forgot to play a move. And generally, you know, it's kind of frustrating. For some people, they kind of devoted their time to this tournament. They finished the first round. It lasted for 3 months. And some of the guys could actually go through and play, but these guys, yeah, they went through and then probably just something came in the way, and unfortunately they lost some time. Because for me, I log into the app almost every single day, so I saw the game started, I was like, okay, and I also got, I think, email. So I saw when the game started and I didn't miss anyone, so... And won very convincingly. Surprisingly, very convincingly won the group, the second stage, and we'll be waiting for round number 3. Not sure when it will start, because some people said it might start mid-June, which is 2 months from now, as I'm recording this video. But yeah, very good one, very good win. So many players were participating, guys. Look at this. 24,760 were registered in the beginning. Now 1948 left. The second round is ongoing. Still, my games are all done. There are 3,341 games left. A lot of timeouts. 68% of timeouts, meaning that some players just don't finish their games. Unfortunately, they lose on time. Only 1 player advanced, which is me. And I'm happy to advance to the next round. Let's see what group I'll got. Hopefully I can go all the way. I think I'm strong enough to go all the way down. Maybe not the first place, but get to the last pool of players. And let's see what happens there. But that's it from me. Let me know if you played in this tournament, if you participated in this tournament, and I'll see you in the recap of the next round, in round number 3 recap, which will apparently happen, yeah, somewhere in July, or let's say, yeah, either July or August. Crazy, it will be 5 months from now. But yeah, it is what it is. See you soon. Hope you enjoyed. Bye bye.